Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Amira, and in this video I'll create this cute package design completely from scratch. Together we're gonna go through those design stages and you will find the timestamps below, so feel free to get to the key points you need. But first, let me briefly walk you through the brand strategy of Cloudy Puffs. The brand strategy marks the pillars of my design decisions. For the brand foundation, I laid out the purpose, vision, and mission of Cloudy Puffs, which is a marshmallow brand we're designing today. The main purpose of Cloudy Puffs is to let people connect with their inner child through those marshmallows. Now for the vision, we're creating space to allow people to share memorable experiences with Cloudy Puffs. Now for the brand positioning, I outlined its target audience, competitors, and its competitive advantage. I'll be using this info extensively in creating the Instagram marketing campaigns, which I'll be filming in another video. Now that we learned about Cloudy Puffs, let's create the mood board. So here I'm using an old template of a previous work. You can see the remnants of my previous work here. But first I'll have my mind clear about the design direction, the process, typography, and the color palette. In creating this mood board, I'm allowing myself to visualize a cheerful, playful vibe we're going for, so that I'll stick to it while building up the brand identity. So now we created a nice mood board. On the left, I added the font style I'm going for, not so edgy and not so groovy or bubbly. Beneath them, I added those cute whimsical images of marshmallows on hot choco and the campfire. It just gives this warm feeling we're looking for in capturing nostalgia. I think I'll mainly use this as an inspiration for the Instagram carousel. For the color palette, you can see that I chose mainly pink shades, pastel blue and yellow, and pastel lime green. I'm going for pastels all the way down to give out a light, cheerful vibe to this brand. Now let's jump into picking the mockup. So I found several sites providing free mockups that I can use. I like this one the most since it has this nice height to width ratio. Usually designers save this step for last, but the reason why I'm picking the mockup right now is that it would help me decide what dimensions I'll use for the die lines. So for the die lines, first I'll create an artboard of 20 by 20 inches. Next, I'm using the rectangle tool to start creating the die lines. I'm going for a 4.5 by 6.5 inch rectangle, and that will be the front label of the package. Again, this is just a passion project, so the dimensions I'm using aren't really the standard dimensions. In working with real clients, you get ready-made die lines from the manufacturer so that you can accurately depict the final product. So now that I created this die line, I'm gonna lock the guide so that I can freely design the package above it. So now let's design the primary logo. First, we're gonna look for the font of the primary logo. I'm thinking mainly of a nice, playful, bold font with curved edges. I don't want it to be so bubbly and groovy that it fails to attract an older age group. Yet it shouldn't be too bold that it's standoffish for just marshmallows. Just something in between would better fit the identity of Cloudy Puffs. Okay, so I downloaded a bunch of fonts that I'm gonna try right now. I created a new artboard right next to the die line, and here I'll try out the fonts and see which one best matches the new vision for Cloudy Puffs. I think I'll go with this second font. Let's pull it out, and I'll just brush aside the other fonts. Okay, so now I'm gonna click on create outlines and then ungroup them so that I can freely play around with each letter and start customizing the logo. Was thinking of giving it a little arch at the bottom and make the letters a bit bouncy. Maybe make the initials C and P a little bigger. So I'm gonna add those switches and get back to you. Now we made Cloudy Puffs quite puffy and bouncy as we envisioned it to be. I'll drag the pink one over the die line so that we can start putting things together. I picked a random pink shade temporarily for the background. I know it looks ugly, just will definitely change that later. So next, I'll start creating my color palette that I'll stick to throughout my designing process. I like to first create boxes with the key pastel colors I'm going for. First, I'll pick a light shade on the top, and down at the bottom, I'll go for a darker shade of the same hue. And for the intermediate shades, I'm gonna create them using the blend tool. Now using the rectangle tool, I'm gonna create the back of the package. Try to visualize it with me. When the two rectangles at the sides they get folded behind, they're gonna form the back. Thinking of using a darker shade for now, but I bet I'll later on change it and use the same shade I used for the front of the package. So let's just see how it goes. Okay, so for the logo, I was thinking of drawing a big puffy cloud behind the text. I'm not sure if I'd change my mind about it, so let's just see. Let me actually use a pen tool instead. I kinda lose control when I use the brush tool. My hands aren't quite steady, I think. Alright, there is a lot to fix here, so I'll clean this up and get back to you. Okay, this looks a lot better. Now let me add some highlights on the logo and the clouds at the back, just to make it pop a little more. After that, I was thinking of adding a baby blue drop shadow just beneath the clouds. And next, maybe we can also add some shadows to the words cloudy puffs. I used purple here and I'm gonna lower the opacity, and this time I'm not gonna use the Gaussian blur. Now let's start designing the label of cloudy puffs. So I'm thinking of creating a pattern of cute clouds and marshmallows. I was thinking of making the marshmallows kawaii-ish, if that's even a word, just to give it some cute, friendly persona to the brand.
And to suit my obsession with kawaii stuff.
So overall, I created those little guys, gave them hands and feet to add a little more cuteness, and now we're ready to create the pattern. I'll rotate them a little and try to fit them between the clouds, then I'll create a pattern out of it. So here we created our pattern, and I think it looks cute when it's placed all over the package. Alright, so next I'm thinking of creating this wavy box at the bottom center and make it seem like it's flowing from the top. Inside that shape, I want to place an image of marshmallows. If I were to turn this into a real product, I would have kept that shape as transparent so that the real marshmallows inside can be seen. But since it's a passion project, I'm gonna use a cute marshmallow pic for this one. I thought it looks awkward, that part at the top, so I actually removed it and I'm gonna fill it up with something else. Okay, so using the rectangle tool, I'll create the peripheral extensions that would later on be sealed when the package is manufactured. I don't know what it's technically called, but you know what I mean. Next, I was thinking of adding some sort of glowy outline to that wavy box, so I'll copy it, send it to the back, and pick a light blue shade. I might change that later on to white or something, but let's just see. Remember those cute marshmallow guys we created? I wanted to add one somewhere. Maybe at the top of the box, make him sit above it. I'll draw a speech bubble above and let it say fat-free or no artificial colors. Those are the facts that I want to emphasize in this package, and I think it would be boring if I just placed those texts plainly on the label instead of highlighting them. So I'll pick a nice font and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm not sure about this bubble, so I'll leave it for now and hopefully I'll get a better perspective later on. So next I'm thinking of drawing like a rainbow river flowing from the upper left part down to the right corner. Alright, I actually like it. I'm thinking of adding some text sliding on top of it. I bet it would look awkward, but let's just see how it turns. Yeah, definitely doesn't work. So let's try something else. Okay, so I drew the text at the bottom in waves just parallel to the bottom of the box, and yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. I keep going back to the bubble, I still don't like it, so I took out the fat-free and just kept the rest. I'm thinking of putting fat-free on the top left corner. So I'll copy this artboard to give myself some space to try new things and edit the text at the bottom. Kinda edit that wave a bit. And yeah, I think this looks better. Now I'm thinking of drawing a soft faded cloud behind it to merge the text with the picture a little more. And I'll be using the Gaussian blur effect for it. Alright, I had to pause and give this some thought, and I finally settled on that speech bubble. I thought I'd rather reverse the colors, draw a V-shaped ribbon end at the top left corner, and then place fat-free above it. And I honestly like it this way. Okay, so now we're wrapping things up, and I want to add a wavy pastel pink shape on the top and the bottom, like parallel to each other. I don't know how else to describe it, but you're gonna see how it looks. I'm using the clipping mask tool to make sure the edges are neat, keeping those waves confined to the top and the bottom rectangles. And finally, I added the nutritional value and the other information that goes on the back of the wrapper. I made sure to keep the font and style consistent with the front of the label. Alright guys, here's the final result. I created this mockup on the right too. Comment down below if you'd like me to create a tutorial for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you find it helpful, and thank you so much for watching.